You know, so many people have so many issues in this country that we have to fix. One of them, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to address a couple of the other people's campaign things that they're doing that I either agree or don't disagree. And it's so easy because we have such simple solutions to the problems in our country, but nobody wants to listen to them and nobody wants to change them because politics is about corporate America making so much money. Take this area of town. I've never been in Abilene. This is my first time in Abilene. Take this area of town, and just in the 3 blocks that I've been this morning, there's 5 businesses with plywood over the windows. And where does politics or America support bailout or anything small businesses like they do the motor companies and the Wall Street giants? Okay, so part of the problem is money running this country in the wrong direction. So Trump is saying that we can throw 10 million people out of this country. We have approximately 11 million immigrants, illegal immigrants in this country. So let's just, for easy figures in your head, let's take and put 10 million out on the table. Okay. I pay $918 a month for health insurance. And I was in hospital in ICU for 37 days. $500,000 hospital bill, and they didn't pay a dime. So healthcare is a big issue in this country. So we cannot throw 10 million people out of this country because we don't have 10 million white people that will go pick strawberries or do highway work or stand out in the fields. We just don't. Our country will come to an economical stop if we throw 10 million people out here. Not to mention we're going to spend $30 billion rounding them up and throwing them out. So let's combine that problem with our healthcare problem. And we're just going to throw 10 million out on the table right now, 10 million illegal immigrants, because even though we have close to 11. And everybody that I have talked to as far as that's illegal in this country is more than satisfied with paying like $1,000 fine. We have a severe problem with the IRS because A, they're not doing their job, and B, the only people getting tax breaks are Wall Street and the rich people. So let's just abolish the IRS, charge an 8% flat tax, okay? We have 2 computer systems, and we have a computer system for the illegal immigrants, and we give them a social security number and we charge them $1,000 fine. It's $10 billion plus all their tax money now. Okay, we get rid of the IRS and we charge a flat tax of 8% across the board. I don't care who you are. So we can file our taxes on this postcard and we can do our healthcare insurance on this postcard. And we can take 350 million people and we can reform Medicare to where Medicare is our government insurance. And reform it to where you get the choice of your doctors and it actually pays something, and your doctors get to choose how your medicine is dished out and what kind of treatment you need to stay alive. So we take in this computer system with Medicare and we take the $10 billion from the illegal immigrants and all their tax money to pay that program, and then we take the IRS, the 8% there. Okay, and you're thinking, okay, well, is 8% going to actually pay the bills of this country? 8%. We have 1.5 million nonprofits in this country. That's amazing. Okay. Why does Hillary Clinton have a nonprofit? Because it's a tax loophole. She's sitting on $432 million. The NFL was nonprofit, and the commissioner of the NFL was making $62 million a year, subsidized by taxpayer money. Okay, the Humane Society of the United States, PETA, are sitting on over $100 million. And that's 4 companies, okay, out of 150 million companies. The only nonprofits we need in this country are life-saving hospitals, like Children's Shriners Life-Saving Research, okay? Abolish nonprofits. I'm a nonprofit. My zoo is a nonprofit. I would gladly give up my nonprofit. Charge 150 million nonprofits 8% sales to 8% tax on all that money. And we could get this country out of debt in less than 3 years. Just closing
That's
a tax,
scary.
just
Yeah,
closing
it
a
is.
tax loophole.
That's scary.
Okay, but why will that never happen? Because most of those organizations are paying the $10 million to Hillary Clinton's campaign fund, and most of that money is going to pay lobbyists to get lawmakers to swing votes for those organizations that are sitting on that much money. The CEO of Abilene is making $66 million a year as a salary, and me and you can't afford insurance. We can't get health care. So that's two of the major issues that I think we need to fix in this country. Military overspending. We need to be the strongest military in the world, but we don't need to be the sloppiest. We have a boneyard over in Arizona that we call the boneyard, where we send all of our military stuff that we don't use. There is currently 300 brand new Army tanks that have never been used that are sent to retire at the boneyard because somebody was a friend of somebody that got a kickback on that contract to make 300 Army tanks.
And you're just sitting there
They're
doing
just sitting
nothing?
there. Okay. Same way with the fighter jets that are sitting over there and everything else that we're wasting. We spent $10 billion making a blimp for the military, a hot air blimp, that crashed in the woods of Pennsylvania that couldn't even fly. Okay? We spent $10 billion redesigning our camouflage that didn't work. Okay? So there's 20 billion that we could be actually helping our own country do something with out of 2 programs. So imagine, and me and this guy, have you run for office before? Okay, me and this guy do not have the access to the information that some of these that are career politicians have, like Hillary Clinton. So we have to sit back and wonder, okay, well, how much more is going on? Are they really telling us the truth? Hillary Clinton took $35 million from Saudi Arabia as a campaign contribution for this election. What did she have to promise Saudi Arabia for $35 million? So there's a whole lot of dirty pool going on out there.
What are you running for?
Running for Congress for District 19.
Really?
One thing, as congressman, and I'm honored that you're here. One thing as a congressman, Congress has protected themselves so much that, you serve 2 terms, you get paid the rest of your life. You get benefits the rest of your life. We have 18-year-old kids going to fight for this country that are coming home in body bags or coming home with missing legs and missing arms that were shaking their hand and saying, have a great day, you did awesome. And they don't get a check the rest of their life. They have to sit in line at a VA hospital and pray to God that they get health care. Because I used to drive ambulance and took a lot of these people to the VA hospital, and it's a scary sight. Because they'd rather cut your leg off than treat you for the infection that's ruining your leg. So, how, we have to limit the spending on politicians. There's no reason why a normal person can't make a living. First of all, they need to show up for work. But there's no reason why they can't work for $100,000 a year when the rest of us are surviving on $30,000 and $40,000 a year. And
Some people are less than that.
exactly, So it's got to be fixed to where I don't care if you're a sheriff, a mayor, a president, a congressman, a senator, a house representative, 2 terms and you got to go get a job. These people that have been in there for 40 years, that's nuts. That's crazy. They control us. We are nothing but puppets on a string in this country, controlled by politicians. And that's not how our Constitution was designed. Our Constitution was designed for the people. And Congress in Washington has forgot the people of this country. It's about money, it's about lobbyists, it's about everything. And things that go on that affect mine and your lives to the point that it's just about unconstitutional should be on a ballot public vote instead of just a room full of senators or congressmen changing mine and your lives because a lobbyist gave them money to push this bill through. Okay, it's all corrupt, it's all crazy. I have testified in front of the Senate and I've testified in front of the House of Ohio, and I pray for the day I get Governor Kasich on a stage on public television, because he is one of the most corrupt bastards I've ever met in my life. And I went head to head with him. And you might remember this on TV, both of you, 3 years ago when the gentleman in Ohio supposedly killed himself and turned all them tigers loose.
Oh, Zanesville.
In Zanesville? Okay, that man was a friend of mine. There's no way he would have did that. To this day, you will never convince me that he killed himself, let alone pulled his pants down before he shot himself to embarrass his corpse. Okay, so what happens in Ohio is Governor Kasich and the animal rights people, the Humane Society of the United States, push this bill through to make it illegal to have exotic animals. Okay, now it has cost the taxpayers $6.4 million. Okay, and most of the taxpayers don't even realize what's going on. And he is sending in SWAT teams to people's homes, pointing guns at women and children at 6 o'clock in the morning to take their animals away from them. Okay, but here's where none of this makes sense other than the money trail, because I have copies through the Freedom of Information Act of their contracts and of their employee records. You live in Ohio, you're a private owner, and you have a bear in your backyard, in a cage. And Governor Kasich is sending in SWAT teams and taking away your bear and issuing $250,000 contracts to his friends in Florida and California to do what? To take that bear to another private home. Except it's a friend of his. Okay? So that man, if he had the power of being commander-in-chief of this country, he's sending in SWAT teams for money in Ohio, we're in trouble. So
Yeah.
one of my goals of this whole thing is I'm going to get him on TV and we're going to debate this in public. That goes to the same thing. There should not be so much control in this country that one man sitting at the head of a tourism committee or a judiciary committee refused to read a bill. One man should not have that much power. Okay. We tried to introduce a bill this year in Oklahoma making it illegal for animal rights people to raise money in the state of Oklahoma. On the May 3rd tornado, the Humane Society of the United States came in. They raised $1.7 million, saying they were going to help the tornado victims replace their animals and all this stuff. Not one red cent stayed in Oklahoma. So our Attorney General wanted them to open their books. It's a nonprofit, they're supposed to open their books. Well, they sued our Attorney General. Okay. And then we introduced a bill making it illegal to raise money if you're an out-of-state, an animal rights organization. And then if you are in-state, you could not raise money in-state or out-of-state and use that for any political reasons. It had to go to the shelters in Oklahoma. It passed the House 79-15, and it was refused to be read in the Judicial Committee because they got to the head guy, the chairman of the Judiciary Committee. So, you know, nothing is up to the people. And that's where we have to start putting our country back in place, is the people that built this country, the people that made this country, the people that pay the taxes to pay for this country should have a voice in this country. You know, pro-choice. It should be your choice to do what you want with your body. Okay. When you start talking about abortions and all that, people get erratic on both sides. You know, if you're 14 years old or 16 years old and you're having sex and you're pregnant from being sloppy or stupid or lazy, and you have to have an abortion or you choose to get an abortion, I think you should be sterilized or your tubes tied until you're old enough to change or grow up.
They have implants now like that. You know, they could do an implant for like 3 to 5 years.
But so many people refuse to even do that because it's lazy. I was on Channel 4 News in Oklahoma, all over, because I pass out condoms. One of my campaign things is a condom with my picture on it. You know, it says "Protect yourself, vote so exotic," and I did that. I've been passing out condoms in my shows for 7 years, and one little old lady got offended, so I'm all over the news. Joe Exotic passed out condoms. You know what? Your 12-year-old is pregnant. You should have passed out a condom. Okay,
That's right.
So I'm doing your job for you. It doesn't offend me at all. You have the right to have an abortion, as long as the fetus is not viable. Okay. I live a mile from the most horrid state school in the world, and they have 70-year-old people that don't even know they're alive, strapped to backboards on wheels in the hallway, and that's their enrichment for the day. Because people have deformed children, and we are so selfish in this country, and you're gonna understand this. He might not. With the animal rights people and the way that our country is going, a dog in a cage has more rights than a living human being does. We allow more exploitation and money laundering and money fraud to go on with animal rights organizations than we do for your grandmother in a nursing home, or those kids that grow up to be 70 years old that don't even know they're alive in a state school. And when you really sit and let that thing sink in, it makes you ashamed of the human race anymore. It really does. Because it's too easy to have a crack baby and let the state take care of it than it is to get off crack. Instead of incarcerating all of the $25 bags of meth addicts, we need to get them treatment and get them off of meth and put them back in society. But like I was talking to you earlier during the sheriff's debate last week, that $25 meth head pays the bills for the sheriff's department in our county if they arrest him every other week, you know, and charge him with a local fine instead of a state fine, because the money stays in the county instead of goes to the state. You know, instead of stopping this problem. Our prisons are 120% past capacity right now,
Yeah.
and we're not doing anything for society except locking them up. So there's just so many issues about so many things that we just need to fix. But we're not going to fix it because our prisons are privately owned. They're making money. And somebody's obviously getting a kickback, or they wouldn't be privately owned, you know? We could take the $20 billion we wasted on 2 military products and we could fund our own prisons and get some programs going there to get these people off of whatever.
Well, that's what needs to be done, because people go to prison, they think if they're at a hotel because they got cable. We have to pay for cable. They don't.
You know,
they get cable, they get a gym, they get...
you know, I've never been in a prison. I have no intentions on ever going to a
I
prison.
haven't either, but the way I think it is...
But I have a friend, a very dear friend, that sat next to me in the hospital for 37 days that I just met on Facebook, that has a son in prison here in Texas because he got busted for 2 pills of ecstasy. And he has been in prison for 4 years, and he's still got 3 more years to go over ecstasy. Okay? And then he got caught taking a banana from the commissary back to his cell, and they added another year to his sentence. And we have Schwarzenegger deferring manslaughter cases to senators as kids to lower their sentence to get out of prison. Hard crimes need to stay in prison, okay? But we have a lot of petty crimes in prison because it's not about right or wrong. I used to be a police chief. I've testified for the DA. I know how the DA works. It's about winning the case. It's not about who goes to jail under false pretenses or because they couldn't afford a good lawyer. And a lot of our systems in this country are just broke. They're broke and they're trying to be fixed. But we have to get rid of the corruption. We have to get rid of the big money politics that is paying for this corruption. Bernie Sanders, wants to do free college. Get rid of the student loan. I'm all for helping people go to school, okay? Why should you, as a taxpayer, have to pay somebody to go to college, okay, get a degree as a doctor or a lawyer, and then when they get out of school, they're gonna charge you $500 an hour to represent you as a lawyer? Where's fair in that? Okay? So, we should have some free schools. All of your state colleges, LSU, Texas A&M, should be free and they should be funded, How am I gonna fund that? I'll tell you in a second. But if you wanna go to Yale, you're gonna pay for Yale. We will provide you a free college, a decent, real college degree that you can go get a real decent paying job. Okay? But if you're gonna go to Harvard and you're gonna get out and charge somebody $500 an hour, I'm not paying for that. And neither should you. How can we fund schools? All right, let's talk about funding schools. Colorado is making $100 million a month in sales tax on marijuana. Okay? You can bitch till the cows come home. People are not gonna stop smoking pot. They've been smoking pot since the cowboys and Indians. The people, and what's amazing is the people your age and my age are all for that because I grew up from hippies. My parents were hippies. We wore bell-bottom pants and and love beads. Was the country in a mass mess like it is now? Okay. We are selling alcohol at every exit at every gas station. And how many people are dying every day on the highways from DUIs? How many do you see on the news that died or killed a whole family from smoking a joint? Okay, but I'm not for smoking a joint driving down the road either. No. Colorado has an perfect example law. You're allowed to buy it. They staple the receipt and the tag to the bag, and if that is tampered with before you get home, you broke the law.
Right.
Okay, you're going to jail.
This is you go to an open container.
They are allowing you to smoke it in your house, not out on the street. Okay? Everybody thinks if we're going to legalize marijuana, everybody's going to be walking around the store smoking pot. That's just not the way it's going to happen. Oklahoma is closing schools, but they spent the money suing Colorado because all the Oklahoma people are going to Colorado to buy weed. Christian politics is in the way, okay? And that's where I get another problem with, you cannot run this country from one religious belief. You cannot. And Ted Cruz thinks he can run this country from his Bible belief. You cannot. We have so many diverse religions in this country, and we have so many different people in this country that you have to have an open mind and be fair for all. We can't. Hillary pulled the woman card the other night. We're going to make sure that women get better health care. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. That's not the way you can run this country as a president. You have to run this country as you're going to get the same health care as that man right there.
Right.
And that's just the bottom line. Because you're both human beings. I don't care what color you are, what your religious belief or not.
Right.
And that takes me back to prayer in school. Our country went to shit when we took out prayer in school and we took the paddle away from the principal. The lawsuits that are filed in this country are ridiculous, completely ridiculous. When you buy hot coffee at McDonald's, you should expect it to be hot. Okay? If you don't want to spank your kids, we're going to at school because you're going to have some respect in this country. But what gets me is every politician is out there beating a path that, you know, I'm a Christian, you know, I believe in this, I'm against gay marriage, I'm doing, but you voted to take God out of school. You're a hell of a Christian, okay?
Yeah.
Do we go to Pakistan, Iraq, or anywhere else in this country? We fight for them. We try and get their country put back in order. But do we tell them they can no longer pray in school because they come over here and sue us because we pray in school? You're more than welcome.
They need to put that back in school.
You're more than welcome to come back. You're more than welcome to come live in our country. You're going to become an American citizen. You're going to learn how to speak English. And you're going to either accept our ways or get the hell out. Why does America have to change everything we do for people who come to live here? We don't go to other countries. We don't go to Germany and tell them what to do. We don't go to Iraq and tell them what to do in their schools or their churches or anything else. But they come over here and they sue us because we should separate religion and state. Okay? I was at a political rally the other day in a church, and that is no place for a political rally. At all. No. I was never more disgusted than a man in the moon to see a political rally going on in a church. Because it was a debate and it was a complete setup because the man that is elected now belongs to that church. So everybody was, oh yeah. And the other guy got just crucified. Okay? But should we teach respect in schools? That's a whole, to me, that's not separating state and religion. That's respect. Teaching our people respect. Put our flag back in school. Nobody says the Pledge of Allegiance before they go to school anymore. You know? So it's just sad what our country has turned into over being able to hire fancy lawyers and file lawsuits. Our judicial system has got to quit having to lawyer his lawsuits. Believe it or not, I had one of the head politicians of Congress of Nepal fly in 2 days ago and sit with me and visit.
I saw that.
And we had an amazing conversation about world peace, world hunger, and endangered species. And the world hunger thing was very amazing. Why we pay our farmers not to farm in this country, just like they pay their farmers not to farm in Nepal, because we have so much food in storage as far as wheat and grain and corn, you know, that we subsidize our farmers not to farm. Okay. Why do we not send that to third world countries that are starving? Why do you think? Because they are worried, our politicians are worried that they will make some kind of product like flour or cornmeal or whatever and sell it back to somebody else out of that country at a lower price and ruin our price of our grain product. So why don't we just ship that over there, let our farmers farm, and close the gates so they can't export that back in, okay? If we made it to where they could not export that back out of New Guinea or Guyana or wherever, South Africa, they could eat, our farmers could farm, and our grain prices wouldn't change. You know, a lot of people think that if you lower the price, you're gonna hurt the economy, you know, because it trickles downhill, okay? In reality, from a working person, and you have to consider Bernie Sanders has never had a job other than politics, and you know Donald Trump ain't out there working. As a business owner, I can create more income for my place if I lower the price and I get 10 times more people in than if I want to price gouge somebody and get it up there. So it would be the same way. We're killing millions of animals every day that don't even get eaten by human beings because it's going into landfill. So if you lowered the price of hamburger from $4 a pound to $2 a pound, the human race is going to buy 10 times more hamburger.
Right.
Okay, which is gonna drive up the demand of the cows, which is gonna drive up everybody, from the person that eats it to the person that buys it to the person that grows it to the person that grows the corn to feed that cow. We could put our economy on track by lowering the price. It's the same thing of why we're fighting in Iraq and everywhere else over oil that we don't even need. Okay? If we're gonna go over and we're gonna clean up their political problems and their wars over there, you need to sign something over to us. Okay? We're either gonna have Iraq of the United States, or you're gonna fund your own fight. Okay? This ISIS problem, you're gonna see the same thing with North Korea. Instead of toying with this man and letting him shoot off these missiles and threaten everybody, I thought we didn't negotiate with terrorists. We're turning terrorist prisoners loose for exchange of our prisoners. Okay? The first time you cut the head off of one of our people, we're gonna liberate you. And we're gonna come home. And you're gonna spend the next 10 years cleaning up your mess instead of us cleaning up your mess. So you have time to get a renegade army like ISIS back, you know. If they would spend the time cleaning up the mess after we bomb them and go fix their problem, they wouldn't have so much time to figure out. But America, we're the ones giving them the weapons. We ship more weapons abroad than we do here in America. And that's all part of where in the hell, what in the hell did we promise Iraq, Saudi Arabia for $35 million for campaign problems?
But yet they don't take care of the veterans that come home legless.
Right.
Yeah, or
Right.
lose an arm or both.
Okay, so that's a lot of my bitch and complaint, and you'll never see me win for several reasons. One is it's rigged system. It's illegal for me to debate a Republican or a Democrat. They created that law 15 years ago.
That needs to go.
And that's, yeah,
That does need to
that
go.
needs to go away.
So, will we have a voice by then? We will. We will definitely have a voice by November the 8th. As soon as we figure out who is going to be the nominees for Republican and Democrat, then you're going to see me turn the pressure up a little bit more. Because we're going to sit down and talk to whoever it is, and we're going to make a deal. And one of those deals is going to be, I want to name the Secretary of Agriculture for this country. I don't want to be it, I want to name it. And I will turn all of my support to whoever allows me to do that. I've spoken to many people that are running, and a lot of people that are running have never been in politics. So that tells you that there's an interest in changing
I
what the
think all
system.
those people that have been in politics and in seats for 20 and 30 years
Right.
need to go.
They do.
They do.
You know, that for Congress, you know, this man might have a whole lot more ideas that might work. You know, and fresh ideas and thinking out of the box is what we need in this country in order to change it.
Yep.
But you know what is amazing to me? When neither one of you really know a whole lot about me. These ladies follow me. They're like
Religiously.
stalkers.
Yeah, we still.
I have put out 173 videos in 173 days about political issues. And I've pulled out some pretty big people on those videos. And when I first announced that I was running, my very first video, I laid it all out there, you know. I'm not gonna wear a suit, I'm not cutting my hair, you don't like me arranged. We are making life-changing deals with third world leaders that are dressed in dresses and robes and have bones in their nose. So why should anything do I look like matter to you as long as we're for the people, okay? I'm married to a man. In 173 videos, nobody has come up against me. Because this really all does make sense. How are we gonna change this? I don't know. You know, because I don't have the access to the aids and everything, neither do you. How are we gonna fix this? But when you look at a child that's only 6 months old, what are they gonna have in 30 years if we don't fix this?
That's right.
And I don't even have kids, but we have to fix this.
My kids have 4 feet, 6 tables.
I don't know how, but I think more and more, me and you, we could